Hello, everybody. I want to start something a little different on my channel. One day a week. I've been thinking about this for a few weeks now, and I love books. When I originally started this YouTube channel, I thought I wanted to incorporate books somehow, but I didn't know how I was going to do that. And I didn't know if it was going to be too boring because a lot of people don't like to read. I don't understand that. I don't know how you can go your life without reading books, lots and lots and lots of books. You can't read as many books as you'd want to read in your lifetime. Books are amazing. I love them so much. I don't understand how you can not like them. But no judgment. If you don't read, you don't read. I don't know how you live, but you don't read. Somehow. I thought I'd start Saturday book suggestion Saturdays, where I tell you about a book or books that kind of work together that I have read and I loved, and I would recommend them to a friend or family member, and I just want to get them out there to the world and let people know about them in case they didn't know about them. I love there's an app called Goodreads where you can go and read about all kinds of books and read other people's reviews of books and get some ideas. They suggest books to you based on your likes and dislikes. So I love stuff like that. I love anybody suggesting, like, recommending me a book. I love that. So I just thought maybe somebody just hadn't heard of these books and I can get them out there and tell people about them, and celebrate them because I love them so much. I read a lot of kids' books because I have a 4-year-old daughter and I read to her a lot. And I also just like kids' books myself. Even if I didn't have a kid, I just enjoy kids' books. Picture books or books that have more writing to them, more depth to them, small chapter books, young adult books. I love fiction and nonfiction. I love all kinds of books. I go to the library a lot, and I also own a lot of books. This book I got at the library. It's been on my list on Goodreads of books I wanted to read, and I had forgotten about it, and I just saw it propped up on a shelf, like, duh, pick me. And I was like, ooh, I want that. The book, ooh, just knocked. The book is The Magic Half by Annie Barrows. Or Barrows. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a little thick, little bit of a chapter book, but it's for kids or young adults. It has no pictures. The words are fairly big, which I like. I hate it when you open a book and there's teeny tiny little words all close together. It makes my head hurt. This is like the perfect size for me. There is about 211 pages and 16 chapters. It's not bad. Is it only 16? Yeah, 16 chapters. So, and on the bottom here, it says author of Ivy and Bean, which I'll talk about in a second. The author also wrote a very large series of books called Ivy and Bean. about these two little girls, and I have quite a few of those books, and I've been reading them to my daughter, and she loves them. So that was another thing that drew me to the book. I like the illustration on the front of the two girls. It's kind of a glare, so it's hard to see. So I'm going to give you kind of a brief explanation of the book. If you don't, so this is your spoiler alert. If you don't like to hear anything about a book before you read it, then you might not want to read this, or you might not want to watch this. If you don't like to hear anything about a book, then you might not want to watch this. I'm not going to give away big plot twists or the ending or anything like that, but I'm just going to go into some detail about the book. General telling you what the book is about. So, this book is about a girl named Mary. And that is Mary right there. She has twin older brothers named Ray and Robbie, and twin younger sisters named Nell and Nora. Ray and Robbie, I think, are pre-teenish, maybe 13 or so. And Nell and Nora are probably like 2 or 3, maybe 4 years old. And I would say Mary is about 10-ish. She feels left out. She feels like kind of the unwanted child in the family because she has twin older brothers and twin younger sisters. And she's just Mary by herself in the middle. She's a middle child and she's in between 2 sets of twins. I can imagine that would be kind of hard. Whenever they go out to the stores, people say, "Oh, look at those twins, look at those twins." And they don't pay attention to Mary because she's just a single kid by herself. Not as interesting, not as cool. So she kind of feels left out. And she feels like she's not really a part of the family or something. They are moving into a new house when the book begins. And it's a really old house. Really cool old house. And Mary's bedroom is sort of round, like a big round room. And it has a really ugly wallpaper on it. I think it's like purple with flowers that she hates. So her mom says that they can go pick out some paint or wallpaper or something like that to redo the room for her. She also wears glasses. And that's an important part of the story. Also, her twin brothers hear from an old man in the town. He's like a 90-year-old man. He approaches them and says, "Oh, you're moving into that house, are you? Well, in that house there used to live this thief, and he stole a bunch of stuff. Money, jewelry, stuff like that, and he hid it somewhere in that house, in that property, and nobody knows where it's at. So if you find it, let me know, because he knows one of the ladies that he stole from. He has like her bracelet or something like that." So the boys are excited and they are like, "Yes, let's find that treasure. We got to find that treasure." So they're obsessed with it and they're looking in the basement and they're looking all over the place. Mary overhears and she wants to join in too. And they're like, little sister, we don't want you getting in on our treasure hunt, So she decides to go on her own to look around. And her brothers are watching her because they want to find the treasure first and they want to claim dibs on it. She finds out that there used to be a barn of some sort on the property. but there isn't anymore. So she finds out where it was located at, and she thinks that's probably where he would have buried the treasure, like inside the barn, under the barn, something like that. So she finds where it used to be, and she figures that's where the treasure's going to be. Her brothers find out about it. They want in on it. There's a fight that breaks out, and she hits one of the brothers over the head with a shovel. Pretty bad, pretty serious. Her mom is furious. She's in bad trouble. Also, she breaks her glasses. I can't remember exactly how in the process. I think her brothers break her glasses. So her mom's mad about that because they have to buy her new glasses. She's mad at her for hitting her brother in the head with a shovel. So she's in trouble. Can't really go dig for treasure because she's grounded and sent to her room. While she's in her room, she spots something taped to the wall down low, like on the baseboard. Something like kind of catches the light and catches her eye. And she goes and looks at it, and it's the lens from a pair of glasses. Just a single lens from a pair of glasses that's been taped to the baseboard. She's like, why in the world would someone do that? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And she takes it and she looks through it. When she looks through it, all of a sudden she is transported, and she's still in the same house, the same room, but it's a long time ago. I'm not sure how long ago, but let's say maybe 60 years ago or something, 70 years ago. I'm trying to do the math, what would make sense. Maybe 70 years ago. 75 years ago, I can't remember. And she's in the same bedroom, but the walls are different. The walls are pink, I think. And it's got different furniture. She's basically time traveled back in time. She meets this girl named Molly, who is sleeping in that bedroom. And she's the same age as her. And this is Molly. Molly is living there in the house, and that's her bedroom. Mary explains what happened. She's like, I transported back in time somehow. This is crazy. And she believes her, and she's like, maybe you can take me back to the future with you, because I want to get out of here. I want to escape this place. And she's like, what? So Molly is living in that family. It's her aunt's house, her Aunt Flo, and her two cousins. Her parents died somehow. I can't remember how, if it tells in the story. So she went to live with her aunt, kind of adopted by her unwillingly. Her aunt hates her, treats her like Cinderella. She has to do chores, and she's just treated horribly. And her two cousins are awful, and they treat her horribly and bully her. She has a girl cousin who's older named Sissy, who is just obsessed with makeup and her looks and stuff like that. She's kind of snobby, but you can tell she has a little bit of heart. She feels a little bit bad for Molly, but she's just raised in this bad family, so she's got this snobby attitude. And then there's a boy cousin named Horst. Of course, with a name like Horst, you're going to be bad, I would think. No offense to any Horsts out there. I've never heard of a person named Horst. But he is a bully. He's mean. And he threatens her all the time, threatens to beat her, does beat her, I think. And she's scared to death of him. She's scared he's going to kill her someday. Scared of what he might do to her. Her aunt is cold and mean. So she says, I was going to run away soon anyways. I was planning on running away, and now my opportunity has come. Maybe you could take me back with you to the future, and I can live a happier life there, because my life here is miserable. So Miri feels sorry for Molly. She becomes friends with her. She wants to help her get out of there. And Molly knows that there was a thief that used to live in the house who stole and hid treasure. So she starts to piece things together and thinks maybe that was Horst who was the thief and he hid his treasure somewhere. I think Molly tells her, yes, he is a thief and he supposedly has a hidden treasure, hidden money somehow, because he always has a bunch of money. So Miri is trying to sneak around the house and not get caught by the parents and stuff like that. And she goes out to the barn to hide, and she sees Horst, and he has this secret treasure hidden under the barn. Cash, money, and jewelry that he stole and stuff. So Molly had a pair of glasses as well. And Miri looks through, or no. I'm trying to think. Okay. Miri has her glasses. She broke her glasses, but she has one lens left. So she looks through her lens and she goes back to her time again. And she's like, oh no, I left Molly behind. And I have to go back in time and get her, because who knows what's going to happen. She's afraid Horst is going to do something to her. She left the lens that she had originally looked through, that she found taped to the baseboard. She left that back in the past. So, but she used her own glasses to go back to her time period. So now she has to figure out a way to go back in time again. And Molly had said that she had had another pair of glasses, but she lost them, couldn't find them anywhere. So Miri thinks, what if she didn't lose them? What if her horrible cousin Horst took them and hid them with his treasure trove or whatever? So she goes to where the barn used to be and digs up, and she finds the treasure. And sure enough, there is Molly's old pair of glasses in the treasure. So she can use those to go back in time. And I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but that's pretty much it. Like, I probably spoiled a bunch of stuff, but she's trying to go back in time to save Molly. And I love the ending to the book. And there's actually a sequel, maybe even a third book, which I don't see why. I feel like it was a good standalone book, and I don't think it should have a sequel. So I don't know if I'm really interested in reading the sequels, because I think that it's a good book just by itself. So check that out if you're interested. The other books by Annie Barrows are Ivy and Bean. And it's these cute little books about these two girls that are friends. Ivy is the redheaded little girl, and Bean is the girl with the short, dark brown hair, very tomboyish. They're both very creative, spunky little girls that get in trouble and do crazy things, and they have big imaginations. They're neighbors with each other, and they're in the same grade in school. same age. They live nearby each other. The first book, they're not friends. And Ivy is skeptical that she would, or sorry, Bean is skeptical that she would want to be friends with Ivy. She's like, she's not cool enough. Why would I want to be friends with her? Then she gets to know Ivy and sees how she has a crazy, weird side, like Bean does, and they become best friends, and they have all kinds of crazy adventures together. They're inseparable. Ivy lives with her mom. She has a cool room where it's like sectioned in all these little sections, like a pie. So she has like a little science lab section and an art section and her bed in another section and a reading section. And she just has all these different creative sections of her room that change throughout the books when she decides to change them. She's an only child. Bean has an older sister named Nancy. And she's like Bean's enemy. She's always fighting with Nancy, and Nancy's always out to get her. And she lives with her mom and dad. There's other kids in the neighborhood that they hang out with a lot. They have interactions with their neighbors a lot. And they get in trouble and do lots of crazy things. The second book is And the Ghost That Had to Go. They think that they saw a ghost coming out of the girls' bathroom at school, but it was like this sort of mist because the plumbing was bad or something, and it caused like this weird foggy mist. And they have all kinds of shenanigans that go on because they think there's a ghost in the bathroom. Break the Fossil Record is the third book. They find a bone in the yard and they think that it's a dinosaur bone, and they go into this whole excavating dinosaur hunt, fossil hunt. Turns out it was just like a chicken bone or something. But they were excited about it. The fourth book, Take Care of the Babysitter, was a good one, where Nancy, Bean's older sister, gets the responsibility of being the babysitter, and they're trying to take her down at any means possible. Bound to Be Bad, I think, was one of my favorite ones, where they're just doing all kinds of bad stuff, getting into trouble. Then we got Doomed to Dance. They want to do dancing lessons, and their parents are like, are you sure about that? You're going to give up on it? You're not going to want to do it? Sure enough, they don't want to do it. After like the first lesson, they think it's really boring and they want to quit, and they can't. So then they try to get sick on purpose so they don't have to go to the recital, and they're trying everything they can to get out of it. 7, we have What's the Big Idea? Something to do with science experiments. I can't remember what that one was about. No News is Good News is another one where they do they make a newspaper about the neighborhood, and they give it out to people, and they start reporting on bad stuff, like stuff that they shouldn't be reporting on about their neighbors, and people get kind of mad about it. Make the Rules. I don't remember exactly what that one's about. Bean's older sister Nancy is going to this like a camp, a girls camp, Girls Power Forever camp, and Bean and Ivy are jealous about it, so they start their own camp at the local park, and get kids to join their camp, and they come up with activities to do and stuff. And number 10, Ivy and Bean take the case. They become investigators in their town. And the last one that I have is number 11, One Big Happy Family, which I thought was going to be like maybe Ivy or Bean's parents were going to have another child. But it turns out, no, that's not what it's about. Some kid at school says that Ivy is spoiled because she's an only child. And she's like, I don't want to be spoiled. I don't want to be spoiled. I want to have a sibling. So they go to the park and they borrow a little kid to be her sibling. And it turns out she doesn't like it that much. And they give up on that idea. But that's the last of the books. They're really good, really easy reads. They have pictures in them throughout the books. So check that out if you're interested. My daughter's 4 years old, and Ivy and Bean holds her interest. And she asked to read Ivy and Bean. She's like, can I please read another Ivy and Bean, Ivy and Bean? When I started reading them, I thought that Bean, her personality is like my daughter's, but Ivy looks more like my daughter with her red hair. It's like Ivy has the looks of my daughter and Bean has the personality of my daughter. So they remind me of her. So that is Saturday's book suggestions. And I'll catch you next Saturday with another book suggestion. Have a great day.